Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, guys. Good morning, wherever you're watching from. My name is AyoT, and this is Eagle Striker, the home of Nigerian football. It is match day T-1, and we just want to talk about the game that's coming up tomorrow between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and, of course, Rwanda. Before we get into it, guys, please just let me know very quickly where you're joining from. Let me know very quickly where you are joining from so that I can hail you and just thank you for tuning in. I see you, Fusi Hype. Thank you very much. Fusi Hype is in Canada. Thank you for joining. Please let me know where you're joining from. Tabuno Joss is in London. Osaka or England or London, Ontario. There's many Londons in this world. But thank you very much, Tabuno, for joining. Who is like on today? Joining from Canada, Gun Football, that is going to be joining me up in a bit, is in the UK. Orege Osas is in Canada. Lots of people in Canada. Abe is in Nigeria. It says long time fan. Thank you, Abe. I appreciate your support. Geo Web is in Germany, Deutschland. Chiboy is in Nigeria. Olutade is in Edmonton, Canada. From Sea to Sea is in Regina, Saskatchewan. It's Ganador is in Birmingham, UK. Mr. West is in Scotland. But yes, let us get into it. We want to talk about Nigeria versus Rwanda or Rwanda versus Nigeria. Ani Ife is in Israel. Shout out to you, man. Nigerians are everywhere. Bolu is in the UK. Ade 1402 is in Dublin, Ireland. In Dublin. Lots of people from all over the world. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining. Okay, let us get into the conversation. I'm just waiting for my partner to join me. Layi, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Nice to be here again.
Yes.
Um,
Normally we come on Tuesdays, but the game is on Tuesday, so we have to be here a day early to preview the game. Rwanda versus Nigeria in Kigali. Of course, the Super Eagles are already there. They've trained. They've had the press conference. Our coach Osneguavon said the objective tomorrow is 3 points. The game plan is 3 points.
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
one thing that I will say I like about Eguavon is that whenever he speaks, he always speaks with confidence.
yeah.
Even in the times where things have not gone so well, when he speaks in his press conferences, he's always confident. He knows what he's going to do, and it's just all about it's being executed on the field. How he has dreamt it up. Um, but yeah, okay, Nigeria Football Weekly. An hour is a long time, but if you are able to speed it up a little bit, maybe. But I think we should be here for about an hour at least.
Mhm.
But yeah, Rwanda versus Nigeria, the Wasps of Rwanda versus the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Based on name alone, Wasp now all those swats, this thing where you go use kill wasp now. You kill them like fly.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to cause problem for ego.
Hmm.
But let's just get into it a little bit. So based on the FIFA rankings,
Yeah.
Super Eagles of Nigeria are ranked 39th in the world,
Hmm.
and Rwanda, the Wasps of Rwanda,
Hmm.
are 131 in the world. So based on FIFA on paper, is something that should not really be a contest.
Hmm.
They are saying that Nigeria is the much better side. Somebody said, "Oh, mobile insecticide." It on paper it should not really be a contest.
Hmm.
Um, but Smidlai, can we judge Rwanda based on their FIFA ranking? What do you think about this side?
So, thank you for actually for bringing me on again. And I greet the house. I can see a lot of people actually trooping in now. So, he said that we can judge them. It's a quick reminder that this country is at the top of our World Cup qualifier group.
Hmm.
So, how will we judge them? The last time we went to go and play in Kigali, We drew 1-1
Mm.
in the crucial qualifier. We drew 1-1 the old Amaro Stadium, not the new one. At the old Amaro Stadium, we were rescued by Obafemi Martin's, I think probably equalizer when Jimmy Katete, puts the Rwandans actually what ahead. So we can't underrate them. There's no minnows in African football anymore. I don't know what is in this African football. I saw Ghana play today, and I realized that you can't underrate any team at your own peril. You're going to be in soup if you actually want. For me, forget about FIFA ranking. We should not underrate Rwanda.
We should not underrate Rwanda. And I agree with you. They're obviously, on paper, not a great team, but their results are speaking for themselves. And like you mentioned, they are top of our World Cup qualifying group. So we can take them for granted, but it might be at your own peril. And speaking of African football, the results this international break have also shown us that, it's tough for everybody. Senegal struggling to beat Burundi, Tunisia struggling against Gambia, Cameroon struggling against Namibia. The only team that has really, really just done the job easily so far was maybe Egypt and Nigeria and Morocco in their first game against Gabon. But other teams, it's been pretty tough, even against teams that you expect them to beat. Let's talk about the recent form of both teams. So in Nigeria's last 5 games, we have 2 wins, 2 defeats, and 1 draw. Of course, the most recent game was our 3-0 win against Benin Republic, where Ademola Lookman stole the show, featuring Victor Osimhen's goal. And then Rwanda, in their last 5 games, they have 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat. Their only defeat in those last 5 games came against Benin Republic in June.
Yeah.
But their opening game of the AFCON qualifiers, they drew 1-1 against Libya. So when you look at the form table, the Super Eagles were not in the best of form, but won the last game and are going to come into this game in high spirits, believing that they can do a lot. Whereas Rwanda, their form has been, I'll say for Rwanda, with all due respect to them, their form has been pretty good. Only losing one of their last 5 matches. How do you think the form can impact the sides going into this game?
Like form is you are as good as your last game, in my own opinion. And if you can show up in those games, why not show up against the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Because this is like the first competitive game in the new Amaro Stadium. Arguably the best stadium in the whole of Africa. So if you want a visitor, if you want to be motivated to win a game, it should be against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So I think that the form can speak a little bit. If you look at it too, most of the Rwandan players, they play for APR. APR is in Rwanda. APR is a very big club in Rwanda. And, if we are put on paper, like you said, we should be taking Raymond to go and play them. But we can't risk that. For me, their form is very good. And the home crowd too might go against Nigeria. So don't forget that we have never won away in Kigali before.
And what's the capacity of their stadium?
It's like 60-something thousand or so capacity.
60-something thousand. So assuming it's a full house, there's a potential for it to be a fairly intimidating stadium.
Yes. In fact, FIFA said that that stadium can host the World Cup final. To tell
that's
you
how nice
they have invested, how they have invested in that stadium. So I know that imagine that they go to see host the Super Eagles in March. So this game is very pop up for this game.
Okay. And looking at the head-to-head between both sides, this will be the 6th meeting between Nigeria and Rwanda. So far, Nigeria has 2 wins and there have been 3 draws. So Rwanda is yet to record a victory against Nigeria. Our most recent win against them was 2-0 in June 2012 in an AFCON qualifier, where the goals were scored by Ikechukwu Uche and our top appearance maker, Ahmed Musa. So when you look at the head-to-head, Rwanda have never beaten us in competitive action, or even they've not beaten us at all. Is there any chance that tomorrow will be the first day that Rwanda will beat Nigeria, or do you think that the Nigerians should be fairly comfortable going into this one?
In all with due respect, if there should be any team that is capable of beating the Super Eagles of Nigeria tomorrow, is going to be this Rwanda, this team from Rwanda. I can tell you, their previous team in previous years, they are not as good as this team, and they've managed to. We've not got into a game with Rwanda that we totally dominated that game, and we won. I remember the World Cup qualifier in 2004, 2005. We struggled to beat them in Abuja. I think it was a 2-0 victory. We struggled badly, and the away leg in Kigali, we drew 1-1. Yeah. So we've not had this edge over. I don't know the reason why. We used to be very good against all these Central and Eastern African countries, but this Rwanda just look like someone that failed to go away, So they can cause upset tomorrow, but I think that they are playing on a very good pitch, so that one might count against them because the old Amaro Stadium was not that good. I can tell you that is a horrible pitch, but now they are playing on a very good pitch, and we also have a world-class worker players, and also on a very good pitch. I think that we're going to beat them tomorrow.
I love the confidence. The confidence. Okay, let me just talk a little bit about the Rwandan side, and then I'll throw it to you as well. I was doing my research, looking at their recent games, everything, and I think there are a couple players that we should just be aware of. I think their biggest threat is probably Innocent Nshuti. He's a striker for One Knoxville FC in the USL. That's the second division in the USA. He of course scored their goal against Libya and that 1-1 draw, and he tends to be involved in a lot of things that go good for them. Another player on their side that they have is I'll say a good winger, with skill, with a bit of pace, Gilbert Mugisha. So he's one of those players who plays locally for APR FC in Rwanda. And he's a player that also is quite inventive. Again, is most likely going to be lining up against Layi. I have full faith in Layi. But I think if Rwanda are going to get something positive out of the game tomorrow, this is another player that is likely to be involved in the game. Sometimes he can be not so good, but I also think that he has some good games where he comes up for them. And then I think in the midfield, we should pay attention to their captain, Jihad Bizimana. And I hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly. Sorry if any Rwandan is watching. But Bizimana is the player who essentially runs their midfield operation for them. If you look at most of his games, his passing tends to be pinpoint. He's an accurate passer of the ball. He's somebody that gets involved in both the defensive side of the game as well as the attacking side of the game. Always finishes with a high number of tackles, high number of interceptions, and then he tends to create opportunities for them in the attack as well. So again, if Rwanda are supposed to get anything positive out of this game, I think Jihad Bizimana is a player that would potentially be crucial for them. That midfield battle, of course, is going to be up against probably Godfred Ndidi in that midfield. We have full faith in Ndidi's abilities, and we want to believe that Ndidi will be able to curb the threat, but it's still someone that we need to pay attention to. And then a player on their team who I think could also play a key role, considering the fact that I think I would expect Nigeria to be on the front foot, to be coming at them a lot more. I have to highlight their goalkeeper, Fiacre Ntwari. He plays for Kaizer Chiefs in the DStv Premiership in South Africa, so the same league as our own goalkeeper. And he just joined Kaizer Chiefs this summer. Last season, he played for TS Galaxy. And I have to be honest with you, the guy is a top performer at club level. He does his job as well for Rwanda's national team. At club level, he's a fantastic performer. I know Nigerians would not like to hear this, but last season, in the league, he was even better than Noah Bali. In the same league last season, he was actually better than Noah Bali. So he's not a bad goalkeeper at all. He is quick off his line. He has good reflexes. He can make saves. He can distribute the ball fairly decently, and of course, he just got signed by one of the biggest clubs in South Africa, Kaizer Chiefs. So he's somebody that I think is going to have his work cut out tomorrow. Going up against an attack of Lukman, Chukwueze, Simon, Osime, Boniface, Iwobi. He's going to have to be at his best. He's going to have to be making saves right and left. But I think that he's somebody that if maybe we have 5 chances in that game, with the quality that their goalkeeper has, he can probably reduce the number of goals to 1 or 2. Yeah. If he's a good goalkeeper, we have to give him credit. And he's probably the player that when you look at their potential starting lineup, He's probably the player that plays for the biggest team. Talking about Kaizer Chiefs, because most of their players play in Rwanda. The ones that play in the USA, they play in the second division in the USA, not the MLS. So you cannot
Mhm.
even say. So he's going to be a key factor for them tomorrow. Svitlai, from your end, when you look at the Rwandan team, who are some of the players that you think the Super Eagles have to pay attention to and have to be wary of?
You know, you just mentioned the goalkeeper. You know, I remember during transfer window, they wanted Nwabali, Kaizer
Hmm.
Chiefs, but they went for the Rwandan goalkeeper ahead of Nwabali. Just as a testament of what you just said, that he did well. They see him as a better goalkeeper, and maybe also Keeper United also wanted too much money
Yeah, maybe.
for Nwabali, maybe. But I think that they went for a very good alternative. You mentioned some key players. I want to look at. There's a player I want to look at. Maybe you mentioned him. Is Akim Sahabo. I don't know
I
if you
didn't. I didn't.
He's a player for Standard Liège in Belgium. He's still playing for the youth team. I
Hmm.
think he was born in Belgium. I think he changed his nationality to Rwanda. You know, I remember watching him against South Africa. They call him the Rwanda Ronaldinho. So so he's someone that I won't lie to you. He ran the show in the midfield against South Africa.
Hmm.
Under 19 Liège player. He ran the show. In fact, he was dribbling. He was, in fact, against Mokwena. Against Mokwena, he ran the show. So for me, he's a player that, if he's pumped up, someone that can show what also do well for them. You've mentioned the guy Unsuti. Well, there's a player that scored that second goal. He operates from the left. He plays for Police FC. It's called Mugisa against Africa. It's called Mugisa.
Gil-
It's a very
Gilbert Mugisha.
Mugisa. It's called Mugisa. He's a guy that he plays for APR. Sorry, he's a guy that is very very dangerous player. He's a very dangerous player. Though he might be old, I think on paper, I think
He's 28.
he's 28 on paper. But if you look at him, but he's a guy that is very fast. He's very
Hmm.
fast. And I remember him performing well too for APR of Rwanda. So that guy against Olaino, Olaino needs to actually be wary of that type of, he can actually what come from that area and actually what punish us.
If all I know, if your hamstring is gone, I beg, just rest. Oh, may you don't come tell us later and say they don't cook you.
So, and there's also, maybe probably his siblings too in another team too is Mugisa too. And that Mugisa, they did that Mugisa also. So I just want that Gilbert, you make sure that we look after him very well. Forget that there's limited videos about him in what's it called in the on the internet, but the way he's very direct winger. I remember the second game against Africa, it was a loose ball. It was Modiba. Is it Modiba? No, not
Yeah.
Modiba. The guy Mudau. Mudau. It was Mudau that was handling that ball, and he ran and he took the ball from Mudau and he scored that goal against Africa, to win 2-0 in the World Cup qualifier. So it's a guy that we have to actually watch out for. For me, you mentioned that goalkeeper, we might be having a very long evening, with that goalkeeper. I can tell you, we need to look for a way to make sure we're working very well. You can't just be shooting from 21 and 20 yards. You have to make sure we work our 1-2 balls and make sure we get close to him on a regular basis.
Hmm. And when you look at the Rwandan side, how do you think they are going to set up? Do you think they will come and play with a low block? Would they play, would they try to play football with the Super Eagles? What kind of style are you expecting from Rwanda?
I think they will come with a 5-4-1 formation. I think they will actually come with a 5-4-1 formation. I think if you look at the way they played against Libya, in their last game, I think they want to actually approach the game similar to the way they played against Nigeria. So for me, they got a very good result against Libya. It's not easy to go to Libya, to go to Tripoli, and actually to go to Tripoli and get results in Tripoli. I won't lie to you. So I think they want to stay in the game as long as they could. So you might be expecting a low block from them. And this team, except and one thing I have to say about Super Eagles, I don't see us breaking down teams with low block. We know that Benin Republic got a low block, but they made mistake. That's why we could score that first goal. And after that mistake, they came out we got some spaces behind them too. We scored other 2 goals. A team that sits low block fully with Nigeria, like against Lesotho in the first game of the World Cup qualifier, we don't look for a way to break them down. I think tomorrow is going to be a very big test for Nigeria.
You know what I would say? Against Lesotho, we were not playing Guardiola style. So things things have changed.
Yeah.
You know. And to be fair, I slightly agree with you that yes, our first goal against what's it called? Against Benin was because of they made a mistake, but we also had a few half chances with Boniface, balls from Bruno that if we had done a little bit better with those opportunities, we could have also got a goal in that earlier in that first half. But okay, now looking at the Super Eagles, you said you think that they are going to play with a low block.
Yeah.
So if they do, what do the Super Eagles need to do on their own end to counteract that Rwandan action and to be able to get a goal or goals and then a positive result?
So for me, I just think that we need to try and work on their both fullbacks, and I think we have tricky wingers that can actually put them on there. We need to be able to attract them. We need to ask them to come out. I think we need to make sure we work on their right back and their left back. I think our wings need to actually function very well for me. So, and also too, I don't know, maybe we would like to start Victor Osimhen. I don't know, maybe Victor Osimhen can play 90 minutes now. Do you want to keep him the way you did against Benin Republic and bring him, later in the game? Because don't forget that was his first game since May. So I don't think Victor Osimhen is a 90 minutes player now. He needs to get his fitness, to that level for him to play 90 minutes. So we don't overwork him. I think that Woni should start in place of Boniface, and we get the crosses in. I think that we can get them with crosses, and also fast breaks with Dele Bashiru too can also help us. Yeah.
Okay. We'll get into lineups. But I don't like that you said something that I was going to say later.
Okay.
But because I always like us to be different in our prediction. But looking at this game, do you think this is? I mean, it's only the second game of the AFCON qualifiers, but these AFCON qualifiers is going to be fairly quickly. It's only 4 teams in a group, 6 games, so every game has importance. Do you see this game as a must-win for the Super Eagles, or do you think that even if we drop points in this game, we would still have more than enough to finish in a qualification position?
I think so. I think these teams will cancel themselves out. You can see clearly that there's no really big difference between Libya and Rwanda. You could tell me that even between Libya and the Republic, there's no big difference there. So Nigeria is like head and shoulders above this team. So even if we drop any point in Kigali, that is not the end of the road. But the reason why the game against Kigali is so important for Nigeria is because we're going to play in this same stadium in March. So this is like a friendly game for us. Let's go and play this game. Let's look for a way on how to beat them in this stadium. And when we go there in March again, we're going to beat them again. So that's why it's so important. For me, the game against the Republic at home, we won 3-0, and the away game against Rwanda in Kigali, I think very critical for Nigeria, because we're still going to play Rwanda both home and away in the World Cup qualifier, and also and also the Republic at home in our last game in the World Cup qualifier. So that's why I like this AFCON qualifier. So I want like a friendly game for those things. So we need to go and prove ourselves in Kigali tomorrow, though it's not a must win.
Okay. Let us get into lineup. So of course we saw Coach Aguavon go with a 3-4-3 in the last game, the first game of the qualifiers against Benin. Nwabali in goal, Bruno, Aino wing backs, Basi Ekonga Jai, Iwobi Indidi, Lukman Boniface, Chukwueze. How are you expecting the team to set up tomorrow when we go to Kigali, or when we play in Kigali?
I think, though I saw his press conference, he was trying to hint maybe there will be a change formation. I don't think he will change formation. I think he wants to go with his trust. Let me tell you something. This victory, these guys have been struggling for the past 4 games, and you got this 4-3-3, a lot of 4-3-4-3, and the Nigerians actually were happy with it. I don't think Eguavoen will change the way he plays. I think he's going to go with the same 3-4-3 formation, which I think is good, very important in Kigali too.
Mm.
I think he's going to stick with the same back line, as long as they actually what fit. I think it's going to be Nwabali in goal again, Maybe if we are leading by 4 goals or nothing, we'll bring Maduka Okoye in, And I think it's going to be Calvin Bassey, Calvin Bassey, Semi Ajayi, and William Trust Ekong at the back line. I think it's going to be, but the left wing back, I think it's going to be Bruno and Olaino, right wing back. I think in the midfield, I'm not really sure. Maybe they will be fit enough to play the game because I saw him towards the end of the game. He was trying to tell them to change him or things like that. So if he's not fit, I think it's probably going to be Rafael Onyedika and Alex Iwobi. I don't think he might probably risk Onyedika and Bashiru together, because of inexperience, any critical game away from home in Africa. I think he might probably play Alex Iwobi and Rafael Onyedika. Then up front is going to be I think Victor Boniface should sit on the bench. I think Awoni should play to start the game, and also with I'm bent. I think you should start with Simon and Lukman. I just think those are the best three. Luke Osimhen, Simon, and Lukman, they are best three up front.
Okay. For me, I think I'm going to agree with you and say he's going to stick with a 3-4-3. It worked very well for him in that game against Benin Republic. I don't think he's just going to change things all of a sudden. Go with what is tried and trusted and hopefully get another positive result. As much as I would like to see Maduka Okoye in goal, I think it's going to be Stanley Nwabali. He shows that he trusts Nwabali. He's been there. He hasn't put a foot wrong for Nigeria yet. So Stanley Nwabali is going to be in goal. Wing backs, Bruno on the left. Bruno is really, really, when you look at it, is really the only real option that we have, unless you play Aino there. So Bruno on the left, Aino on the right, Basi, Ekong, Ajayi, the same defensive line. In midfield, I think Ndidi and Iwobi, but just like you said, if Ndidi is not fit enough to start the game, I'll draft in Rafael Ongedika to take his place. Striker, this is why I said I didn't like that you said that, because this was what I was going to say. I also think that Victor Boniface might be on the bench and Taiwo Awoni coming to this game. Awoni is more of a physical presence. Awoni is more of a player that can apply that pressure on defenders and help his team come into the game. Even though, to be fair, there's also a very good chance that he starts Boniface, because Boniface did a good enough job of linking play up, when he had the opportunity. But I think that with crosses into the box, he might want that aerial threat of Taiwo Awoni, especially if Rwanda are going to sit and form a low block, and then they allow the ball to go out wide to the Ainos, to the Brunos, and they are playing a lot of crosses. Boniface is not that much of an aerial threat. Whereas we know that Awoni can head balls in. Obviously, Osimhen is the biggest aerial threat, but I think that Awoni might be able to offer that difference if he plays as the number 9. And then on the left, I think it's going to be Ademola Lookman. On the right, I don't think it will be Simon, because if you remember when Simon came on in the last game, he started playing primarily from the left-hand side, and that's where his assist actually came from. So I think just as a right winger, it's most likely going to be Samuel Chukwueze again. And with good reason. I think Chukwueze had a good game in that match against Benin Republic. Like I said after the match, to me, it was one of his best performances for Nigeria in a long time. So I think Chukwueze will probably retain his place. And one thing that I would say is, again, I went back and I watched the game against Benin, and I was really looking at it play by play. And I don't know if this was Eguavon's tactic or if it was just something that happened on the field, but I'm going to give the credit to the coach because of how it turned out. Even though Lookman, quote unquote, started as the left forward, if you noticed, Bruno was playing very high up. Bruno was essentially playing as a midfielder or a winger in that game, and it allowed Lookman to come in more and play kind of on the edge of the box, that 90 angle of the box. And it looked more like how he plays at club level, because Lookman doesn't always play like a very, very wide winger. He starts on the edge of the box and then he can cut in a little bit. And then, that once Lookman is on that line of the box, whether just outside or just inside, if he's on that line, the horizontal line of the box,
Yes.
is a very, very dangerous player. And
Mm-hmm.
I watched the back and I was like, wow, like if this was a Guavon telling them exactly how they should set up, it worked like a pitch because Bruno was very good creating opportunities from that side, and it also freed Lukman up to play in his best position and to be dangerous, for the Super Eagles. So I think that's something that we might see again. And the difference is that if Simon is the one that is playing on the left, Simon likes to be very wide. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be the same. And if Simon is very wide, Bruno would not be able to get as advanced as he was getting in the game against Benin. So I think Chukwueze will retain his place. Lukman will play there, and then I think Awoni. But I would also say this: I personally would not be surprised if Osimhen started, knowing
Mm-hmm.
knowing the kind of person that Victor Osimhen is.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably told the coach, "That's it, coach. If he play this stage or 90 minutes, I'll play. Put me in." He's probably
Mm-hmm.
told the coach that he can play, and rather, Osimhen is gingered.
Mm-hmm.
After scoring that goal against Benin, he is
Yeah.
gingered. He wants to play. He wants to score more goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be too surprised if Victor Osimhen got the nod. But I think it is amazing. It is interesting. It is lovely that these are the kinds of issues that we have in the Super Eagles now. When we have many quality players and you don't know who to play, the coach has that selection headache.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a positive thing. And then all in all, I think whichever 11 that the coach goes with, we would be expecting a positive result. A lot of people did not have that much confidence going into the game against Benin. People thought it can be another tough one. People thought the coach might not get it right. But now
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to tomorrow's game, the
Mm-hmm.
spirits are high.
Yeah.
People believe. I believe. I think we can go out there and we can get a positive
Yes.
result. So Smilai, let's
Yes.
now go to our score prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Rwanda versus Nigeria in Kigali.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the final score is going to be?
Though I'm not a big fan of the coach, but the way things are going, I don't want to be a prophet of doom. The way things are going, I think the coach might surprise us, and try and lure our spirits more. I don't see a win.
You don't see a win.
Yeah, I don't see a win.
So
Yes,
what do you see?
I see a draw.
0-0, 1-1, 2-2.
I see a 1-1 draw. Score.
1-1 draw.
Let them score first and we equalize.
Okay. So like you are what they call a Debbie Downer.
No.
You're down in our spirits. For me, taking the positive of the last game, taking that momentum into this game, knowing how, even Osimhen said it after the last game that it was like a revenge game for them against Benin Republic. Yeah, so there is no revenge game against Rwanda, but I know that the players are going to be gingered.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to blow them out. Again, they have a good goalkeeper, so I believe that the score is not going to be too high. But I'm going to predict a 2-0 victory for Nigeria. I think we're going to go away. We're going to have it a little bit tough. We'll score one in the first half. We'll score another in the second half. I think Ademola Lookman is going to score maybe one, maybe both. But I, all my see here, if you are an investor, all my money I've put into Ademola Lookman stocks.
Mm-hmm.
All my life savings I've put it into Ademola Lookman
Mm-hmm.
stocks. The guy is at the peak of his powers right now. He's performing like he has never performed before over the
Mm-hmm.
past year. So I have full faith, full confidence in Ademola Lookman.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will score at least one of the two goals tomorrow. And I think the Super Eagles will finish this international period with 6 points out of 6, 2 wins out of 2. 2-0 victory for the Super Eagles against the Wasps of Rwanda. Yeah, that's my prediction.
Okay. Yeah. Can I just say a few
Yeah,
things
go on.
about
Go on.
what we should avoid? I have to say it. They should tell Bruno Onyemaechi to be staying in his position. You see, I saw Ekong dragging him. Go back. They should tell him to be staying in his position. To be staying in his position. Because all those small details counts in away game. It's not about trying to tell a player, but it should be tactically disciplined. watched the game again too, and I realized that Benin too also have some good opportunities too in that game. So it wasn't like Urugu for Nigeria. I think that a more motivated team can get a goal. And the reason I went, I don't want to break my heart. I want to vote for Super Eagles win. But I'm just saying something the way that if they score first, that means that Guavon needs to bring a bird from his pocket, and try and change things around in that game. And don't see him as that type of person. We go wrong, it goes wrong, it goes wrong. That is all. If it goes right in the start, forget it. It goes wrong, it goes wrong. So it's just from pillar to post. So, and another thing that we have to actually avoid is this. Please don't give ball away easily. If you are not, but if you don't see your nearest man, please clear the ball out. Clear the ball out, because those type of areas too, they are playing away, they are playing at home, and this is their first competitive game. The referee will not be nice to you the way they're nice to you in New York. It's not going to be like that. This is in Kigali against Rwanda, and I can tell you that Rwanda wants to be in Morocco for the next AFCON, and they see this game as a game they can actually win. So our guys should be tactically disciplined, because we can lose this game if we are not tactically actually disciplined. My only worry is the left wing back. That is I think he's the only one that is not really a top among our boys, and we might struggle. And also our midfielders too. We need to have legs too to chase them, because these guys can run. They can. We must be able to chase them. Forget say you are a big player in the Premier League. Also, we have to chase them. They can run. That's why Onyeka starting might even be a blessing for Nigeria, or Alhassan Yusuf.
I would say if you keep going, I'll remove some of my Lookman stocks and I'll invest in Bruno Oyemachi, because I believe so much in Bruno. Jose Pesero did not trust him, did not give him a single minute at the AFCON. But this is a defender that I like. I understand what you're saying. Bruno is the kind of guy, even when I was watching the game back, sometimes when he starts to press, and then they pass the ball, he will press all the way from left wing, or he will reach right wing, he will be in the striker's position before he finally now comes back to place. But I believe that the team is able to shift and correct their positions to cover for him when that kind of thing happens. I believe so much in Bruno. I don't think he can be a liability, or he will be a liability to the Super Eagles in this game. And I think that we're going to get a positive result. Obviously, we've been confident like this before, and it didn't happen for us. But no, I'm feeling the ginger from the Super Eagles. I'm feeling the ginger from the Super Eagles. I think that they are up for it. All these things about putting in the effort, running around. I think they are going to give everything. They know that they haven't been getting the results until this game against Benin, and if they know that if they don't get another win, that game will just look like a flash in the pan. It just look like, oh, so you just deceived us with one win and then you're back to your normal selves. So I know that they are going to be gingered and they are going to want to get a positive result. If there's anybody that wants to come on and share their thoughts, please send a request so that I can bring you. Each person will get about 3 minutes thereabout to just give us your opinion, give us your lineup, your prediction for the game tomorrow, and then we'll try to get as many people on as possible. Just let me go to the comments very quickly. When the wolf cries, says, please don't start Iwobi. Don't worry, we're not the coaches. I think Iwobi will start, but we're not the coaches. DXA says, AyoT and Smith, you guys make me enjoy watching football talks. God bless you both. God bless you too, DXA. Thank you very, very much. Somto Visual says, if you don't start Iwobi, the midfield will be too porous, except in cases where Onyeka and Ndidi both start. Let me see. Some of the visuals also says Bruno presses a lot. He was solid. Olu Olatunji says Iwobi needs to sit down. Monis Kapi says that is why I don't trust Eguavon. He doesn't have the tactical skills to turn things around when his team is in a difficult position. If we start well, then No problem. Okay. One stitch in time says this man shall want Labadia to coach us. It's like they're talking about you.
Who,
Somebody, somebody said you just want Labadia to coach us.
who is that person?
One stitch in time.
Okay.
But yeah, let me see. Somebody said, Onola said, the Onolakbo, Olakunle says, Layi made me fall in love with sports talk. Hmm.
Why you won before? Read down.
Let me see. Wait.
What?
What did they say?
He's trying to abuse me.
So when we have the ball, one CB needs to step in the middle so we can dominate the midfield. Sometimes it was really hard to play with just Ndidi and Iwobi. Fumi Deb says, I love you both. Thank you, Fumi Debs. We love you too. Um, Iwobi wasn't bad as a CM or box to box. Just won't have, just won't be creative enough in that position. Okay, if you want to join, please send a request. I'll bring you on and we'll hear from you very quickly. Olu from Nigeria Football Weekly, I hope you're almost home so that you can join as well.
Yes. Good afternoon from here. Good evening, Smith, and good afternoon, AyoT.
Good
Yes.
afternoon, good evening.
You came in early. Well, it is what it is.
No, because it's an early start tomorrow. The game is at 2 p.m. for Nigeria.
Yes.
So we wanted to have this preview early enough so that people can digest the information before the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. For me, if Gavon would do this for me, I would be the happiest person. I want to see a combination of Lukman and Awoni.
Mm.
I want that striking area to be a competitive area. A competition in the sense that you know that this is World Cup. If we qualify, it's gonna give the
This is
coach a
AFCON.
headache. I know what I'm looking at both AFCON and the World Cup in terms of selecting our strikers.
Mm.
It's gonna give it's going to give the coach a headache. Should I pick Awoni and drop Boniface? Should I pick Boniface and drop Awoni? Should I pick this one and drop this one? That is what I want.
Mm.
So if the coach will give Awoni a chance, let us see whether he has improved. So that will help us to know whom to do. And I watched Libya against Rwanda. I saw how they played. I think the game, if I'm trying to predict, it will be 2-0 in favor of Super Eagles. Yeah, and people have already clamored. Give him about the code. Give him the code. Give him the position. And I'm laughing. Okay, I don't want to follow Smith and said 1-1. No. I know it may because if this 1-1 happen, I'm telling you, those people are shouting, give him about the coach. We come back as
The thing with fans is that Nigerian fans especially, are very quick to react, whether positively or negatively. They are very quick to react. One win, give him the coach. If he lost that game, oh, why did you put him there? And that's not how we should assess things. But let us see how this second game goes. Humble, I like the fact that you are saying will win. We
no,
need that positive energy.
I'm telling yes, I want us to win because if we lose, I'm telling you, you go here, then I'm telling you, I want us to win. I would be very, very happy if we win because that energy, that connection, the 3-0, even Gennaro did not expect it. He did not even expect it. Really, 3-0. So it's a good sign, and I hope, and I want Oshime to start from the bench. Yes, I want him to start from the bench. Let's see something. Let's see something different. Other strikers. Yeah.
Okay. Let's just put a pin in that for now. I want to move to God knows. God knows. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Sorry, I was on my way to gym when I saw you online, so I have to come back home.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
your name? Because I know is your name God knows.
My name is Kola.
Okay. Kola, how you doing? Thanks for
I'm
joining.
okay. Yeah. My take on this is first. Let me just digress a little bit. I think the NFF should give Eguavon as an interim coach, but they should hire a match reader, someone that will be able to study the match from the bench. So no need of employing maybe any coaches for now. So by that, they can hire another people that would like study the opponent pattern, so they can be able to give him information instead of employing another coach. Because at the end of the day, if the coach they employ fumble, if he didn't go to the World Cup, it's more like a waste of money. So why not just use a Guavon as interim coach, give him all the support he needed, a match reader, someone that can study the match from the bench, we give him tactics and give him what is going on ahead.
So,
Okay.
can I ask him a question?
Go
How
on.
is it? So, what would be the job of a Guavon? If you give him branch leader, you give him everybody. So, what would be his job?
Oh, okay. What I mean, if you remember the match against Ghana, when the Ghanaian changed the formation, the governor was not aware. Was not aware.
Was he
So that was why
when Tunisia changed formation too?
When Tunisia changed information, that is why I
That is
said
why he needed
at least
a match reader
he need a
to
match
inform
reader
So,
him.
what
to
would he be
inform them.
doing there? If he cannot read match, if he cannot do anything,
But,
what would
okay,
he do?
but
No,
no,
but
wait,
like,
but
at
Smith, let me,
the end of the
yes,
day, at the
yes,
end of the
Before
day,
for the bench.
everybody needs job.
remember against Real Madrid, Ancelotti's son went and told his father, please, we need somebody change this. I think we need somebody.
Yeah.
Smith, I know where you are coming
Oh,
from.
isn't that what Fidelis Electrico and Ogumode did? Isn't that what they are doing?
Let's just
Um, to me, it's just an opinion.
No,
Everybody.
I understand you. I understand you.
I
And
understand you
in time
perfectly,
of the
but you know what I'm just saying is this: if at least if you are writing an exam, you need to write what is enzyme down, what is, and somebody can just tell you, okay, Oga, change this thing, but you don't write anything down. Everything that they tell you, what is now the purpose of
okay, that to me, I just feel that no need of employing a foreign coach. At least at the end of the day, if we didn't go to the World Cup, it's more like a waste of money. Why not just keep a Guavon as interim coach, give him all the support he needs? So at the end of the day, if we didn't qualify, we know that it already spoiled right from the beginning. So the blame will not be on him. I know, I don't know. I'm just
we
it's
need
just
to
like
get the coach and tell the coach. I will tell you now this: tell the coach to win all the 6 games. That's his target. Win all the 6 games. If I'm telling you this thing, write it down. If we win all our 6 games, we
we
won't
will
qualify.
qualify. Definitely we will qualify.
So don't blame people that have done it before. You
No, I didn't blame. No, I'm not blaming people. You just
And
do
see,
do
and
your job.
speaking of reading games, if I'm not
AyoT, bring
mistaken,
someone else.
yeah,
yeah.
if I'm not
AyoT,
mistaken, I believe
bring,
that
bring
Ebobo
someone
Orishe
else.
has resumed his role as the match analyst for the Super Eagles. So I don't know if he does his job live in the game or if he only does his job before and after the game. But I think so that he has for these 2 games they've rehired him as a match analyst for the Super Eagles. So
How good is he? How good
there's
is he in time of
is
match
a I mean he's
analysis?
a UEFA licensed coach. So
Mr. AYT, forget that you have the license. Sometimes the license is just a name. It is how good you are, how
no,
intelligent
I
you are.
understand, but there's no way we can know how good he is because we are not seeing the data that he's giving them,
Okay.
So we cannot really tell. We have to kind of just judge based on his credentials. If somebody has UFIA, you go on believe say it's not easy to get, especially if you did
Uh,
not play football.
okay, look at
So you want to
Lampard.
believe
Lampard
that he
play
has
football.
something up there.
Lampard play football. You can see the worst coach Chelsea ever have as
But
Lampard is.
trust
He
me,
just
as bad as you think Lampard is, Lampard is still better than so many other coaches in the world.
Yes,
okay, accepted.
I agree.
Accepted. Then about tomorrow match, to me, I think they should just allow Alex Iwobi to play from the flank. His normal role. They should allow him to play for the flank. then they should allow Dele and Ndidi play for the middle, so that will be the connection from the defensive midfielder to the attacking midfielder and to the striker. And let Awoni and this guy look more play. So Osimhen can start from the bench, and Chukwueze also can start from the bench. So that's what I say.
Okay. And what would you say is your prediction for the game? What do you think the final score will be?
Let me just say we're going to win 2-1.
2-1. And who do you think will
2-1.
score for Nigeria?
Anybody can score as far as we win. That's what I'm after.
But if you have to bet money, who will you bet that will score? Nobody say anybody can score.
I think if Awoni start, Awoni is going to score. If Awoni plays, going to score, because Osimhen, there will be too much eye on him, too much pressure on him. Like he is not going to have the space. So I think Lukman will score also.
Okay.
So
all right.
Just it.
Thank you very much, Kola. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Welcome, Mr. Adedotun.
Hello, Ayo. Layi, all by AFCON United. All by AFCON United.
Yes, sir. Both.
Let me say this. I think we should go all out tomorrow, because some of us that watch all the East African football will tell you the only club in Rwanda is APR, and all their best players they play for APR, and APR is being sponsored by the government. Now let me tell you, Paul Kagame is really funding their football. He's funding their football. So they want to do, so it's drawing against Libya, beating South Africa. I wasn't surprised, because I told that from them, because that man is giving them the necessary moral support, both financially and with their group of players. I watch APR. APR is a very good team. It's a very good team. And that's where he gives that place. Victor Mboma, the former Iba guy. I would just want our boys to go all out tomorrow and not underrate them. Like Smith said, we've never beaten Rwanda in Kigali. Maybe tomorrow we can play that jeans. But I would just want for Coach Osegavon to tell the boys to go all out. He should unleash all his arsenals against Rwanda, because trying to start some free players thinking that we're going to beat them. That's not it. And like I've been saying, I've been saying, in as much as I don't have anything against Coach Guavon, I still want us to employ a disciplined foreign coach. Why? I'll keep saying it. I want somebody that can bring about discipline that team. Like one, to stop agenda, when I say agenda, of inviting some players for marketing purpose, and to stop all those people that go out to Eagles camp, all those shenanigans that have been happening. Even if the person can stop Pati Pascal from being the camp coordinator, I'm very glad, because the access to those boys, to me, is becoming too much. And I feel it get to a state that they will get distracted. You see people asking players to give them money. What rubbish. So that's just my own. I want the coach to please, unleash all his best. Even if he wants to play all the strikers, all the best strikers, he should play them tomorrow. Let them play that things. But like Ombweri said, please stop predicting. I don't think it will be a walk in the past for us. But just try as much as possible to work hard and get necessary results. Thank you.
So
even I don't mind a draw.
okay.
But we should not lose.
But what is your own, for your heart now, waiting you they see as the final score of this game?
On my Rwandans. I want us starting 1-0 in favor of Spy Eagles.
1-0 for the Super Eagles.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adedotson. Nice to hear
Yes.
from you. Olu, are you there?
8 a.m. Today, 8 a.m. in Texas. Maybe 9 a.m. where you are.
Yeah, the game is at 9 a.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. West African time, 2 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Central European time. It is at 9 p.m. if you're in China, and then any other country, you probably have to do the conversion by yourself. But yes, Olu, welcome. Welcome to the
Thanks
program.
for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
Let me explain like I'm
All
somebody else.
right, thank you, Mr. Dodson.
Can I just say, Smith Layi's football knowledge on Nigeria and Africa is
Thank
second
you.
to none, my friend.
No,
Second
it
to
doesn't
none.
matter. Smith Layi is our Nigerian football encyclopedia. Any any data, any history that you need, just hit Smith Layi up. He will tell
I'm
you even the
telling
ones
you,
that the game that happened in 1870 something. Smith Layi
I
has
swear
watched
to
it.
God. So impressive.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on the game that's coming up? How are you feeling?
Guys, first of all, man, at least it's nice to celebrate a good victory. I mean, the last time we won a game by 3 goals, apart from those, was it not Sao Tome? I think we beat them 6-0 and
There's
10-0.
Yeah, we flogged those ones.
Just seeing Nigeria actually like get a
mhm,
routine victory over a team that they should
mhm,
beat, I can't even begin to explain how happy I was. I agree with everything Smith Lyer said, and most people have spoken about it. I think it's going to be a very tough game. I'm very excited about the match, to be honest.
mhm,
I think it's a nice test for us. And this is where we'll really see how the Eagles can perform. I
mhm.
love what you called out about Nigerians being reactive. My
Yeah.
God, we might be the best in the world at being reactive. I I gave my prediction. I said nobody's gonna trash anybody. I've been getting slandered for 3 days on my YouTube.
Mhm,
You think I didn't want Nigeria to win the game? They're like, so it's quite interesting to see the takes and like people talking. I mind what the previous speaker said, where he said he doesn't mind a draw, but he was talking about foreign coach to organize discipline. I just want to say, discipline is not by foreign coach, my
mhm.
friend. It's literally by setting your team up in the right way. If you say
Yeah.
there's too many people around, that's not how it should be. There's always people around the England national team, around the Colombian national team.
Mhm,
If you find the right mediums for them to be engaged with by doing your right press conferences and stuff like that. So it's
mhm,
good to see. So let's just get that one out of the way. I think tomorrow is going to be our toughest game in qualification so far.
mhm,
Um, and most importantly, I think we have to set down a marker. You know, everything Smith was saying about we have a World Cup qualifier there next year. Look, we all love AFCON, but let's be honest, that World Cup pin is the one that is extra. I don't think we have anything to worry about in terms of making the AFCON. If we can win this game tomorrow, that already puts us in the driving
mhm,
seat. But you must set a reminder. One thing that I've been tired of seeing from the Nigerian national team is them not when you're a big boy or a giant of Africa, so to speak, we can even say in a lot of things in Nigeria, maybe we're no longer a giant of Africa. But musical, yes, and football, yes. But you can't go from AFCON final, where you finished second, moved up to, I think we were 24th in the world. And in the space of 6 months, we're now back to 39th. 5 points behind Tunisia and just a few points below Ivory Coast. You have to wallop teams that are below your level. Me, I always talk about, I'm annoyed about England. They're always giving them easy teams. Us too, as Nigeria, we need to beat small boys.
mhm,
I hear all the praise about Rwanda, but let's be honest, they're 39th in the world,
mhm,
in Africa,
Mm.
131st in the world. Their star striker, thanks for mentioning him, Nshuti, plays in the second division in the USA.
mhm,
With all due respect, I think these are the moments, and one thing I like about international football, it gives a chance for individual quality to shine even more.
mhm,
No team has 6 months to prep or decide on their structure. Obviously, it takes time when you already have a established system. But really and truly, individual quality is something that we can see even more frequently when it comes to internationals. Yeah, just as I was saying, I was just basically saying, like, based on the games, apart from being reactionary, we need that to stop. I think we'll see how Eguavon does in the game tomorrow. One thing I had to admit is when I was doing my research for the preview pod against Benin, I noticed that his record obviously is not that bad for the Super Eagles, but I do agree with the one concern Smith-Lai raised as well. Every time we've seen Eguavon in a tactical position where he needs to adapt or change something in game, that's where we've struggled. The Tunisia game, the Ghana World Cup qualifiers, those are the two ones that really stick out in my mind because let's be honest, even if they played an extra 60 minutes against Ghana, it didn't look like we were going to score. And same thing against Tunisia. So once plan A works, we look fantastic. But I would like to see a scenario where plan B can also come in and we can see what we can do when the chips are down. You know, as Rwanda at home are very good, and I love the fact they're in our World Cup group, so we cannot take them for granted. So lay down the marker. We can't complain about the pitch. I mean, look at the beautiful pitch. I saw the stadium. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wow. I saw someone replied me and said, your stadium is like this now. I almost slapped him through my Twitter. I was like, Nigerians are insane, man. Some of us. So at least we'll get to play in a good pitch. The team should have a bit more chemistry. You can tell they're motivated and the good vibes are emanating from the camp. So I just hope they keep their feet on the ground. You can't be getting carried away after you win 3-0 against Benin. And let's be honest, if we look at that Benin game properly, you know, tactically, we scored 2 goals in the final 15 minutes. That game could have easily ended 1-0. But, the home crowd pushed us through. As Smith-Lai said, when Benin tried to push out, that's when they opened up more spaces because they were trying to find an equalizer. So this will be a very different game tactically. And you can already see they're going to set up with a low block. So the onus is on us to make sure that we take the game to them. But one thing I like about Eguavon, he likes to play attacking football. And whenever we've played so-called lesser teams, he's been able to find a way. Obviously, I'm speaking mainly about AFCON when you think about it, we beat Sudan or Guinea-Bissau, for example. So hopefully we can see more of that because whether I like it or not, to do what we did to Benin, all of us, we were there when we watched Polonacho score a last-minute goal like 2 years ago. So let's give kudos where it's at, and then let's see how they go. So that's the one thing I want to see. So let's see how they play on the good pitch, and our individual quality needs to show and shine through. So hopefully we see that in the game. But I don't subscribe to the view that it is not a must win. I think we must win the game, if I'm being brutally honest. I think there's also a factor people do not take into account a lot with Nigeria official matches. It affects your world ranking. Your world ranking affects so many things. If you're not in the top 50 ranked nations in the world, you're in trouble. Your players will not go to Europe. It affects your seeding for World Cup qualifiers, AFCON qualifiers, so many things. We played Ghana in that World Cup qualifier because of Ghana's useless world ranking. So we need to make sure we win this game because we're dangerously close to becoming the sixth best team if we don't win this match. And Tunisia already won their game yesterday, so they won 2 from 2. So forget about it. If we don't win tomorrow, we're gonna drop again. So I'd love to see our star players shine, and hopefully we'll get those points in the bag.
Well said, Olu. Olu, I have a question for you, or maybe a couple questions. But the first one is, who have you pinpointed on the Rwandan team that you think, if they are going to get a positive result, who do you think the Super Eagles will really, really, really need to be aware of?
I think you've already mentioned him. To be honest, my knowledge of the Rwandan team is nowhere near as up to date as Smith Layi. But when I was doing my research, I noticed that they have that star striker that we've spoken about already
Shooty.
in Shuti. And then when you also look at their team, they have quite good experience in the center of defense. I think their two most capped players, Imani Shimwe and Manzi, have like 42 or 43 caps each. And ironically, apart from Oshuti, the highest scoring player is a defender with 4 goals. So I think you could see a scenario where those two may be from set pieces. I don't know how tall the Rwandans are, but I'll say we have to be wary about set pieces because remember our last away game when we played Benin Republic. I don't know if you remember Steve Mounier's goal from the corner. Till today, I'm disgusted. It's like, what the hell are we doing there? So I'd say those two. But without a doubt, it would be the Shuti guy and I think Layi mentioned the Mugisha. So
Of
those seem
APR.
like their APR team. So those are the two ones. But make no mistake about it, it'll be a tough game. These guys are going, they're the home team. They should have a packed out stadium. Unlike Nigeria, that is deciding how they're going to sell tickets 2 games before the match. I'm sure Rwanda, looking at the facilities and the fact they even have a world-class arena as well, not just stadium, I'm sure that place will be packed out with Rwandans in full voice. And when you have these kind of teams where, make no mistake about it, this is the best Rwandan period in their footballing history.
Yeah.
For Rwanda to be sat here right now, top of the World Cup qualifying group, and they're playing in an AFCON qualifying group where they're probably thinking, if we
Can
just
qualify.
beat they should be thinking they should finish second, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm being honest. So I think we have to be very careful and make sure we don't underrate them. But make no mistake about it, Nshuti looks like the one person who will cause us problems if any of them do.
Okay. And Smita, do you have something to say, or should I ask Olu another question?
No, you can ask me another question.
Okay.
I really ask you very well. Yeah.
So on the Super Eagles side, of course, if we want to start naming names, we can go on for the next 20 minutes about the different players that we have. But who do you see on the Super Eagles as potential difference makers? Against the Rwandan side that we know are going to fight hard. They're launching their stadium. They don't want somebody to come and flog them as to launch the stadium. You know. So who do you see on the Super Eagles side that could be those or that potential difference maker in the game tomorrow?
I mean, I hate to say the obvious names, but I still believe the big difference makers for us will be Lukman and Osimhen. Look, there's certain things in football that are still the same. Even international football, we can always see certain patterns with international form. There's a reason why Poland, till tomorrow, they'll play Lewandowski. There's a reason Colombia will play James Rodriguez. You have to keep the players who are performing for you in the squad. That's why even initially after the World Cup, I wasn't too mad at Musa still getting minutes. It's maybe 3 years ago when he started having a really rubbish club career, and they're still saying Skipo, this one, that one, that I started to have problems because no one was being objective. The national team is a meritocracy, and if you don't deliver, you cannot be there. And if there's one thing we can talk about, Ademola Lookman, I mean, look at the year he has had. Like, if ignore Atalanta, let's even ignore the goals for Atalanta. In Nigeria's last, 6-7 games this year,
I'll say
Ademola Lookman,
about our last 10 games, he's been our most important player.
I've just even checked. Guys, before this year, Ademola Lookman had 2 goals in 11 caps for Nigeria. This year alone, he has scored 6 goals for Nigeria in 13 games. For context, how many goals did Kanu score in his entire senior career for Nigeria? I don't think it's more than 13. Obviously, from it's 12. 12 in 86. Yes, that does not include Atlanta 96. Nobody get angry at me. All I'm trying to say is Ademola Lookman has scored half the total amount of goals that Kanu scored in his entire senior career for Nigeria in this 2024 alone. Now, that tells you that this is a player on form and who's really enjoying representing the country and bagging in the goals. In fact, the thing I love the most is his 2 previous goals for Nigeria before this year came against Sao Tome. So this is a man that was probably thinking, look, play me in the big boy games, man. What's all this? He has scored against Cameroon, round of 16, Angola, quarterfinals, Ghana. So at least you can even say he understands the rivalry. I hate to mention it sometimes because this is the one footballer I know, but I knew Lookman when I was growing up. This guy used to go to Redeem Church in Peckham here. Let me tell you, this boy knows the beat of Nigeria versus Ghana. And you can see the way he's performing. So all you home based there, we don't like diaspora people, shut up. Excuse my French. I'm tired of hearing it.
And look, man, I need him to keep up this form because some people that are trying to push that Brahim Diaz agenda. I mean, all due respect to Brahim Diaz, in Morocco's 2 games now, he scored in their game against Gabon. He just scored stoppage time winner for them today now against Lesotho. So he's a good player, but I need Lookman to keep up this form so that whether it's for club or it's for country, people can see that no, undoubtedly, Ademola Lookman is the best player in Africa.
I agree with you. It's not as clear cut as last year. If we had won AFCON, I don't think there'll be any debate. But to be honest with you, the moment Ademola was nominated as the only Ballon d'Or nominee from Africa. That sealed what we expected already. I mean, like his run in AFCON and scoring that hat trick in the final. And that doesn't even take away from his performance from Atalanta. He scored 22 goals and 11 assists for club and country last season. I mean, 33 goal contributions. Like, this is not anybody that mentions Brahim Diaz. I just want to say this one time. It's a non-factor. Brahim Diaz, he wasn't even the best, one of the top 5 players in Morocco's team at AFCON and riding the bench for Real Madrid, because it's like saying Cheba when Ryan Brewster was holding the Champions League trophy when Liverpool won it. I'm being a bit harsh, but let's be respectful here. Like, there is no way Brahim Diaz. The only person that could have laid claim to him was Grassi. But unfortunately, Stuttgart didn't win anything. Yes, she finished second, but it was all like numbers without any effect. So the moment Lookman won that UEFA Cup trophy, Europa League trophy, and also was in the AFCON team of the tournament, so we can't even say he's not deserving. I'm sorry. So anyway, I've rambled as usual, but the whole point is Ademola Lookman right now is still our most decisive player for the Super Eagles this year, alongside our star boy, Victor Osimhen. I will always bang on this drum. All the people that used to say Osimhen didn't have a good AFCON, I always tell people that is a lot of bull jive. First game, scored. Second game, won the penalty against Ivory Coast. Third game, decisive again. Fourth game against Cameroon, assist for Lookman. Had a goal disallowed. Against Angola, he draws away the defender for Lookman to put the ball into the net. In the semi-final, he wins the penalty that Ekong scores. So you could only say the final, and God will never forgive Pesero for that final match that we all watched. I even did a viewing party in my house with so many fine babes. Everybody was now sad at the end of the match. I was just like, mate, I don't know what to say. So my point is, guys, Lookman and Osimhen are our difference makers for a reason, and we must back them because, like I said, with individual quality, those are the players that will still be relied on. There's a reason Harry Kane plays every match for England. He takes them to work. Lukaku that people abuse in major tournaments. Go and check Lukaku's record in scoring in qualification for Belgium. Even you, wow. So all I'm just trying to say is these are still going to be our big difference makers. Everybody else will play a supporting role, if I'm being honest. Obviously, our centre-back pairing will not change because Ekong is still our biggest boy. But apart from them, let's see between Simon or Chukwueze who is able to. Thanks for someone reminding me. Diaz didn't even play in AFCON. What
No,
the hell?
he
I was wondering.
he just joined Morocco after.
Thanks for reminding me. Like, look, if any of you, anyway, me, I live in England and I'm very Premier League centric, but I know some Nigerians love La Liga. If any of you Madrid fanboys are here, please go away and tell your Moroccans to relax. The way they're trying to push this Vinicius Ballon d'Or too. But anyway, long story short, Lookman and Osimhen will still be our most decisive players in this game. But I'll also like to see the way our wing backs continue to play. You know, Oyemachi, I have to say, I've watched a few friendlies where he played well, but he did not play any games at AFCON. But this guy is like, I'm trying to think of a really attacking fullback who I know is really bad defensively, but you don't really care. Like, maybe Marcelo. Okay, Marcelo is a bit too good defensively for me to say him. But you get the point. Oyemachi was constantly in the final third. I'm sure that was by design because they allowed Lookman to move to the more central positions. And I would love to see that more. There were 2 or 3 instances in the first half alone where Oyemachi tried to square the ball for Boniface, or he was a bit too close to the goalkeeper, or his touch let him down. So I really think that we're going to see certain impacts from our fullbacks again. All I know, we already know what he can do. And I love that someone mentioned Dele Bashiru. One thing I like about players like Dele Bashiru, I like players that take their chances. Besides, the irony of this, I'm sure Smith Lai can even confirm, is his brother that we all knew about first now, Tom, that was playing under 20 for us in one, I think 4 or 5 years ago.
Poland, yeah.
But for this guy to just wake up, go straight from League One, go to Italy, and play very well, you know, and then literally his first game in Serie A against Udinese, balls out. Yes, he didn't start the last game, but you can see that this is someone that is not fazed by the environment. Even Osimhen's goal, yes, people want praise Ndidi, but they forget that it was Bashiru who made that driving run by breaking through the lines, and then he passed the ball to Ndidi. And it's nice to see the Ndidi of Leicester from last year and this season, he's changed
Contributing in
into
the attack as well.
so I think that's something very interesting to watch there. But I like the ability to break the lines, especially because we know Rwanda will play a low block. So we need players that are very comfortable and confident in their final third decision making. I also think someone was very harsh on Iwobi because even in AFCON, the amount of balls he played through the lines that maybe someone did not finish properly or did not take the right opportunity or it was just slightly unlucky. Iwobi is a very good player playing between the lines. I think Iwobi's been in the Super Eagles too long, so people don't appreciate him. Maybe it's until he scores a goal in the World Cup. Because this same Iwobi scored the goal that took us to 2018 World
Yeah.
Cup. He's the only Nigerian that scored in Wembley when we played England. That's the last time I watched Nigeria. In fact, that thing pained me because if England hosts World Cup, let me know that it's like a home World Cup for Nigeria.
Yeah.
That day I was so proud. Iwobi scored in how many AFCON knockout stage games for us? But yet you see people who don't remember anything. So I'm telling you, he's our most capped player in the current squad. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Or maybe Simon. Maybe Simon has more caps. But I'm sure it's very, very close between both of them. So please do not discount our certain players. But to round up and to just bring it all together, I promise Nigerians, if we're going to win this game, it would still be the Lookman or the Osimhen of the world that will play. But I like what Smith Lai said because I'm not sure if Osimhen should start or come off the bench. Even me, myself, I'm in two minds just because of that match fitness. But because we're playing away from home, I think sometimes you need that fear factor just to remind people who you are. What's that Kendrick song? You got to pop out and show the N-word. So even if you just let Osimhen start the game, yes, he could probably play 50 minutes, 55 minutes, whatever it is, and then let's see what happens. But I'm not mad at Smith Lai's suggestion about Awoni either because he must be absolutely gagging to impress. I mean, like gagging. So we'll see how it goes, but it is a must win.
Smila, you want to say something?
I know, people that are talking about Alex Iwobi saying that he should bench him, they know how important this guy is.
I'm telling you.
I don't blame Nigeria. I don't blame us sometimes. Say when you just marry a new wife, now you go there, you go bench the old one. that is this thing because now it's Dele Bashiru now. So small time you get another midfielder now. I'm going to talk about Dele Bashiru again. But for me, I think Iwobi is very important in the Nigerian national team. I think a lot of people normally underrate his work. Absolutely. See, I went to see Fulham against Man United. You don't forget about what camera they show you. Look at Alex Iwobi's work rate. Come on, this guy is fantastic. There's a reason why Alex Iwobi keep on playing for Nigeria on a regular basis. So for me, I won't say they should drop him. I think Iwobi is a fantastic player. And also, I hope that we continue to play in Uyo. So that I hope we'll continue to play in Uyo because because it's going to be disastrous for us to say we want to play home game.
It's like that one. Didn't they say Uyo is the only CAF approved stadium?
Yeah, it's only CAF approved.
So the Lagos State government needs to wake up and needs to go and fix the stadium.
Thanks for reminding us.
Because ideally, maybe it's because I'm biased because I'm a Lagosian, but Lagos is where I would love to see the games.
You're not biased.
If the stadium is not right, then and obviously the NFF probably don't care that much because they don't care about commercial activities and all those extra things. But the money that, if things are done properly and there's a whole match day experience, the money that will be generated from a game in Lagos versus a game in New York is very different.
And then, like you said, the same NFF will come and say there's no money. But there is no serious national team on earth. I'm glad you brought that up again about Uyo because I always say it. Let me be the fighter from here. Let people abuse me and say, "Oh, diaspora baby, blah, 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 blah. You think you know too much?" I don't give a damn. There is no serious footballing nation even in Africa. Compare all our rivals. Anybody that's nails in the ranking: Cameroon, Ghana, Senegal, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt. There is not one of them that does not have their main stadium in their capital city or their commercial hub. It is impossible.
Let me remove Ghana.
Okay. Oh no, sorry. Ghana, I just saw that Kumasi abuse. And Nigeria and Ghana, you see where this is why they say we are cousins. We like
somebody said there'll be too much distraction if they play in Lagos. And you know what I'll say to that is that's why the team coordinator, they have to know how to keep the players isolated away from all the distractions.
Exactly.
And on the player side, the reality of it is that if a player wants to bring babe to Campo, whether at Lagos or at Uyo, they will bring that babe.
Thank you.
these players that are playing in Europe, it doesn't cost them anything to give Babe 100,000 naira to buy flight tickets for her to
Bro,
come down to camp.
in fact, I'm glad you said that. I have watched Kelechi Iheanacho on TV play for Leicester, in Leicester at 3 o'clock on Saturday. And by night time, he's at Tiwa Savage show in London. I've gone to LA Lounge once in this UK. I saw Samuel Kalu. He had a match the next Saturday. I saw him leaving the club at 3 a.m.
You're talking about
Look, you
AyoT's
people
friend.
that like to say, look, I mean, let's be honest, that guy's not 25. I've never had such an old looking face in my life. Let me tell you something. Okay, let me calm down. Please, any of AyoT's friends, don't be annoyed. This is Olu. Yeah, Nigeria boy. Okay, yeah, let me talk. All of you like saying distractions. It is absolute bull crap. Like, we need to stop all this. What do you mean they're not playing in your biggest commercial hub? It's like saying players are distracted in London. Bro, half the Premier League clubs play in London. If you want to find distractions, you'll find it. That's why you have a team
Anyway.
coordinator.
Yeah.
Like you said.
I think
What are we
they're
talking
not
about?
serious. That's why.
How can Nigeria not have hosted AFCON in 24 years? And we all know in our hearts that there's no chance of us hosting it anytime soon. I'm
There's
glad
no
that person spoke about Mali. Mali got banned. They banned them with their stadiums. Look at the new stadium they went to go and show us the other day.
Even the
I even
training
saw Mali's
facilities.
training facilities. This is the other thing we're banging on. Nigeria, they'll be warming up. You see them warming up on concrete. Eguavon will now come and do technical director. We have given the players all the facilities they need. The prep has been amazing. Then you now see Nigerians too. You know Stockholm syndrome. It's like how in Nigeria you shout up NEPA because you are not aware that in most places in the world, if they take light for 5 minutes, it's a disaster.
Yeah, that's that.
So the same in Nigeria, they'll say, the players have been given everything. You think Hurricane and Co are sharing hotel room with Saka? You think the one that I know and Co are doing boys playing game, they are showing Rwanda facilities. Nigerians are going to Rwanda. They're excited by the way Kigali looks. Does that not tell us something?
Yes,
Then we cannot even pronounce our anthem.
Yeah.
Because one dictator decided to change it for no reason. They say we should go back to colonial times. Yeah. Anyway, the whole point of what we're trying to say here is the team, despite the challenges and the things that the way the NFF make their life difficult for them, still find a way to get the job done. The fact that we've been playing games in Uyo for almost 10 years and we cannot maximize our commercial hubs. Forget Abuja, Sef, Lagos. In fact, someone said they are renovating Teslim. Me, I'm a Yaba boy. I know it sounds like this posh personal time. Forget I said. Teslim, they need to burn that place to the ground. That's not that is not a stadium. What do you Teslim? Have you seen the way Teslim Balogun Stadium looks from the outside? Ew. It's a disgrace. It's an eyesore. In fact, league teams in England look better.
It's a waste of money.
It's a waste of money. What do you mean? Even National Stadium, knock the whole thing down, mate. I don't even know. Then you now see Amaju Pinnick going on Arise News trying to tell Gusau how he should implement changes as if he did not have 8 years to do it. So anyway, shout out to the players for still surviving and making the best despite the tough situations. We are very, very, very lucky that as Nigeria, God has just blessed us with 2 intangibles. One, we are by far the most populous country in Africa and by far the most populous black country in the whole world. Number 2, we have a hard to describe passion for football, which means despite the lack of building blocks and foundational blocks from the youth above, we still produce these gems. Am I lying?
No.
Then you now see one idiot come and write home based. Oh, the league that is 12th best in Africa. It's called the home based. So anyway,
I just want to say Ghana. I just think that Nigeria is still better than Ghana in one thing. 2 weeks ago, Ghana Stadium, nothing to write about. I was hearing this is a speculation that they went to go and be painting the pitch. How can they be painting the pitch? So it was now looking lush green when they played on it against Uganda, as it was Uganda or Angola. Everything got exposed. I just think that Nigeria and Ghana, they actually were cousins. I don't think you do something too similar. And like you mentioned that Teslim Stadium, I think they need to crap it. I don't
close the whole thing down. To give Nigeria some praise, the one thing I would say is we have a bit more shame than Ghana. Because I know Nigeria, you cannot invite a dual national eligible player and our president will take him to Aso Rock. Like Ghana, allowed Otunodoi to go and meet their president,
Mm-hmm.
and he will not play for Nigeria. It's not possible.
Yeah.
They cannot carry it to Aso Rock, and you are telling us that, oh, I'll consider it. I'll think in 3 years. Ghana, they like Alliance people take them for one chance. In Ketia, you get one England cap. He still chose England. That one, no problem. At least we have enough people. So at the very least, our individual quality seems to allow us move through these positions. And then because we have such a massive diaspora in every country, we're able to still, fortify the squad with certain players that are eligible to play for Nigeria. And please, I live here. Nigerians in diaspora are proud of Nigeria. I don't think people realize that because they don't get to feel Nigerian every day, they latch on to Nigerianness even more. So all
How
of you
do
that
you think that one? Okay, no, I think you didn't finish.
are,
That TBS is for crusade, not for football. I actually I
Olu, let me ask, okay, because you've said a lot today, but I don't think you've told us. So, what's your preferred starting 11 for the game tomorrow?
oh, to be honest, I think we finally seen at least a tactical approach from Eguavo that we can work with. To be honest, I was surprised he played 3 at the back because I was looking at his previous games for us. He had never played 3 at the back, and I thought he might play 4. But I like the continuity. Me, I like to remind people of Semi Ajayi's vulnerability on the ball, but he was all right. So I would keep the exact same back line. Ajayi, Ekong, Basi, Nwabali in goal. I would keep Ndidi and Iwobi in the middle of the park. And I don't think Onyemachi or Aino did anything to lose their place. I think there's only 2 positions where we may see a change in terms of the starting lineup. Osimhen may come in for Boniface, but I will also not be mad if Eguavon says, you know what, let me try and build some confidence in Boniface. Let him start this game and see what he can do for us. And then the only other change I could see happening is Moses Simon playing for Chukwueze. Even though I think Chukwueze had one of his better games for the national team in a while. The same way we talk about what Chukwueze needs in his club side, I believe he desperately needs like an important goal for Nigeria, just to like reignite, his GA and just to give him that confidence where he's wearing the national team shirt. You can see what Saturday did for Osimhen's confidence. Like even just imagine the feeling after everything he's gone through this summer, just to put the ball in the back of the net and feel like a footballer again is very, very important. So I would go with the exact same lineup, but I would probably start Osimhen if I was Eguavon and potentially start Moses Simon instead of Chukwueze, just because we know Simon is such a live wire. But yeah, very similar squad.
I know something I'll say about Chukwueze. I just think Chukwueze needs to add more unpredictability to his game. Because
Absolutely.
when I look at Chukwueze and a very similar player to me is like a Noni Madueke. You
Mm,
know, they are both heavy on the left foot. They are both good dribblers. They like to cut on their left foot and
who is
finish.
better?
I don't want to get into that right now.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, you can even induce this from what I'm about to say. But what I'm saying is, you look at Noni a season ago versus how Madueke has been playing this season. You look at the hat-trick that he scored against Wolves, all of them on his
weak
right
foot.
foot. But when Chukwueze plays, it's almost as if you have to beg him to use his right foot to
Yeah.
try and just see how he can do. And for me, until you add that unpredictability, whereby you can go on your left, but you can also go on your right. So the fullback doesn't know where to show you. Because if you put me to defend against Chukwueze, I just know, okay, I will show him onto his right foot, I'll show him onto his right foot, and you don't really expect him to do much. If he can add that unpredictability to his game, I think he will be a bigger threat because we know he can dribble. We know that he's a good footballer, but he needs to add just that little bit to his game. Somebody said even Olise is better. Olise is on a different level right now. Don't
Oh
call,
yeah,
don't call,
yeah, yeah.
don't call
I mean,
Olise.
any man that ends up playing for the one country he has the least ties to, someone that was born and raised in England, to a Nigerian
Did
father
you
and
did you see when it was doing press
doing
conference and
the English
they,
song, I mean.
no, that was the decision when it was at the press conference and they were asking him questions in French. My guy was just confused. He
Oui,
was
oui,
just
oui, oui,
looking at
oui,
it.
oui, 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 oui. But I love
Yeah.
what you're just saying right now because I think Madueke is a great comparison. And primarily because AyoT, I don't know if you remember 3 years ago, you jumped on my podcast and we did a season ending review when Chukwueze had just won the UEFA Cup with Villarreal.
Villarreal.
Now, my biggest problem with Chukwueze is year on year, me or you, maybe Smith-Lai might know because I respect his knowledge and looking at certain things. I cannot tell you that Chukwueze has significantly improved as a footballer from 2021 to 3 years later, or even the Chukwueze we watched in the 2019 AFCON. You know, it's all well and good us still trying to say Chukwueze is young, but maybe we have to be honest about certain things when it comes to certain players challenging themselves to become the really very best versions of themselves. We've watched Chukwueze score bangers at the Bernabeu. We've seen that in certain moments when he can use his left foot of a wand, he's able to score really good goals. But when you look at his record, I mean, yes, his final season at Villarreal went well, where he scored 13 goals in all competitions. But is he challenging himself to really make that next step up? I mean, when you look at his goal contribution for Nigeria, Sabah Chukwueze has scored, since 2019, he has scored 3 goals for Nigeria. Three. And this is in 26 games. So it's not as if, and mind you, we saw him score in the AFCON in 2019. So my biggest worry with Chukwueze is, look at what you even said about him moving to his weak foot. If you want to develop a weak foot, fine. But if you're not going to develop a weak foot, become a Robin,
See,
or I know people might laugh, become a Pepe on a good day.
so see, and
Nicholas,
what you said about Robin is kind of, as somebody was saying it before, that Robin was predictable. And there's a different thing. If you are predictable, but you're also unstoppable without one move, it makes a huge difference. But if you're
brother,
predictable and 60% of the time it doesn't work out, then
AyoT and Smith, how many times have people know what Salah is going to do? Does it mean you can stop it? And even for the naysayers out there, I like to remind people, obviously, everyone knows I'm an Arsenal fan. In 2021, Nicolas Pepe scored 16 goals for Arsenal, including 10 in the Premier League. You will never know because of the way they were reporting on him because of his fee. Let me tell you something. When Nicolas Pepe shifted to that his left foot, I don't care if you're Van Dijk, that shit was going into the top bins. So all I'm trying to see from Chukwueze is you can tell he second guesses himself a bit too much. And it's very annoying. You could tell that he's one of those players that like the perception of him affects him. It's like Wilfred Zaha. When they're praising Zaha as the best thing since sliced bread, oh my God, he looks like Ballon d'Or top 3 candidate. But when he's going through a rough patch, you're like, ew, get off the pitch. So Chukwueze has that same syndrome. So honestly, I just think he needs that one goal in the national team. But respectfully, if he's on the bench tomorrow, I wouldn't be mad either. But for you to be an AC Milan player, like just it's so frustrating. Anyway,
Anybody can be
Okay.
a champion
Let's
now.
let's wrap up in the next
Yeah,
few minutes. So
yeah.
Smidlai, any final word, anything that you want to say before we end
Yes.
this
So
interview?
for me, it's for the boys to go tomorrow and go and actually do their best tomorrow. I think that you see this game as more than a game. That this game is, it's like a dress rehearsal for our game in match. For me, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow's game. I want them to go and test that place so that they can know what to expect in match. For me, they will lose for Nigeria or a draw in Kigali in March will end the World Cup hopes
oh,
for Nigeria. So for
100%.
me, I think they should actually go and do their best tomorrow. And I also wish Eguavon the best of luck. I don't want to be a prophet of doom. I hope my prediction does not come to pass. I want Nigeria to win. I'm just talking about that some things might happen tomorrow that might not really go straight for Nigeria. Can Eguavon pull anything out from his pockets? That is time will tell about that. For me, I wish them the very best of luck. And I also want Victor Osimhen to also score another goal again, so that at least, I want this guy to keep on moving up in that all Nigerian top scorer trial.
Absolutely.
So that, record that meant to be broken. I want him to break the record.
All right. Olu, final word from you.
Final words from me, similar sentiment. I think tomorrow is a very, very big game, especially because we don't want to be reactive. If we could win this game and lay down the marker for next year, it boosts morale. We come back in October for more games, which means if we win our next 2 games in October, we pretty much seal qualification. And I would like to see us bully lesser teams. I hope we're able to win 2-0 tomorrow. I think that's what you expect from the best teams in the world. When you watch the Argentinas of the world playing against their continental rivals who are lesser than them, no matter the initial gaga the smaller team does, there's always these decisive moments that come when the individual quality shows. So I'm hoping we see that tomorrow. Similar to Smith Layi, I really, 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 really want Osimhen to score tomorrow. It's also exciting for me and for us to be able to look at a player chase Yekini's record. The last time we had hope of anybody doing it was probably when Obafemi Martins first started in the Nigeria shirts. His first 2 or 3 years were unbelievable, but it just panned out. But routine 2-0 win. I wish the team well. I think tomorrow's going to be a big test. But if we can come through tomorrow, I think it will make our prospects look so much better and we can all relax and keep going forward. So fingers crossed the boys bring it home tomorrow
All right.
and manage the sun.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. And just to wrap up, I just want to give a quick shout out to Ifeoma Onumonu, who made a move to Montpellier. Normally would have discussed this on the Nigeria FC podcast, but we don't have an episode tomorrow because of the game. The episode tomorrow is going to be just a post-match live, which will be here on Instagram. So shout out to Ifeoma Onumonu. She joined Montpellier in France. There's rumors about a team in Turkey wanting Gift Orban, but I don't think he's going to want that move. And then also congratulations to Super Falcons forward slash defender Michel Alozie. She has signed a 2-year contract extension with Houston Dash in the NWSL. Lots of seasons have kicked off on the women's side. So guys, please, as much as we watch the men play, let's also watch the women play. They need our support. The season has kicked off. Atletico de Madrid, Benfica already playing Champions League qualifiers. Unfortunately, Atletico lost, so they are not playing in Champions League this season.
They were going to play
Benfica,
Arsenal if they won.
I don't know how
I was
they
looking.
lost that game. I watched it. It was so silly. But yeah, Benfica are going into their round 2 game. They're playing against Hammarby, which they'll probably win and qualify for the group stage. Paris FC, Nadozier's team, I think they have also a very good chance of qualifying for the group stage. So it should be an interesting one. NWSL season is on. The likes of Nicole
Alozie
Payne, the likes of Alozie, they're all playing there. And then, of course, Mexico, their season started as well. And then the
on the 20th.
WSL, I believe, is beginning next week or the week after. And yes, the under-20s, the Falconets qualified for the round of 16, where they are unfortunately or fortunately going to be playing against Japan under-20. Japan breezed through the group stage, 3 wins, 7-0, 4-1, 2-0. So they're not an easy opponent. But it's going to be a good test for our girls. Of course, they had a fantastic game in their victory against Venezuela. And let's hope that they can provide an upset in the game against Japan. The Under-20 Women's World Cup is a very interesting tournament. I can't lie. If you're not watching it, you should watch it. The team that has surprised me the most is North Korea. I don't know since when North Korea started playing football like this, but those North Korean girls, man, they've been doing very, very well. They won against Costa Rica. They won 9-0, and the thing shocked me.
They beat Netherlands too.
They beat
Oh, wow.
Netherlands. They beat Argentina.
Oh, wow.
So
But
I
I
was looking at.
must say, our under-20s have looked good. Even the game they played against Germany, they probably should have won, but they have the biggest Nigerian syndrome I see until you get to the senior team. Everybody wants to be the star. Everybody wants to finish the charts. Nobody wants to square the ball. So if they can hopefully remember that it's a team game and not that they're hustling for contracts, because Nigeria. So I'm trying to say, if I score, because some of the chances they missed against Germany at the first game, I said this is just selfishness. Everybody wants to be the star. So hopefully, especially against Japan, like you said, who are amazing, we can see some real team
Yeah,
cohesion, which they have, but lack of
but yeah.
selfishness.
Their game against Japan is on. Let me just double check the dates. Is on the 12th of September. So that is Thursday, I believe. Yeah, Thursday. They're going to play in the game. The game is at night. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time. That is 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Nigerian time. If you can stay up to go to the club, you can probably stay up to watch the game and support the girls. But yes, we're looking forward to tomorrow's game against Rwanda. Let's cheer on the Super Eagles. If you happen to be in Kigali, make sure you go to the stadium and you cheer on the boys. If you are in Nigeria or wherever else you are in the world, just watch the game, support, and hopefully they can come back home with amazing 3 points. Smithlai, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Olu, thank you for your time. And to everyone that's been watching, thank you for your time as well. My name is AyoT. This is Eagle Striker of Nigerian football. Bye-bye, guys.
Take care, guys.